is the approval of the minutes of February 11th. Anybody have any corrections, discussions, amendments to the meeting as presented?
Sir, I passed along one correction, or what would be an amendment to the minutes to Ms. Baragari already. And unless there's another amendment or change, I offer a motion that we.
Would you share that?
Oh, yes, sir. It
Correction
was just
with us?
on the. It was just a double wording.
Okay.
There, sir, just on the first page. Just said.
Okay.
Said
Wagner
Chairman
asked.
asked, and then or asking, and I just.
Okay.
Obviously, we don't need that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Okay. We have a variance request 2019-04-BZA. Staff report, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is a request for a variance for the home located at 1718 Seneca Street. The request is variance from section 4.03 of the development regulations to allow a front setback of less than 25 feet. As I said, the required setback is 25 feet in this zoning district. The existing setback for the house, 1718, is 20 feet, so it currently sits at 5 feet less than the currently required setback. So this would be considered a legal non-conforming use as it was built prior to our current development regulations. The applicant is proposing to construct an 8x20 covered front porch on the front of the house, which would take that front setback from 20 feet down to 12 feet, as it would come out 8 feet from the house. Section 4.03 of the development regulations does allow for a reduction of the setback in older, more established neighborhoods. And the way it reads is that in areas where parcels were created previous to the adoption of subdivision regulations in July of 1966, where structures have been built observing a setback other than the setback required by the applicable zoning district, new structures shall observe the following setback. Front setbacks may be the average setback of all lots within 150 feet on either side of the lot, but along the same block. So we're talking about 1718 here, so that 150 feet on either side of the lot would include the 2 lots to the east and 2 lots to the west of this one. So I did figure those setbacks, and the average of those 4 lots that are within 150 feet of either side of the property the average setback is 17 feet. So the applicant could legally go down to a 17-foot setback, which would allow a front porch to come out 3 feet from the house, since the house is currently at 20 feet. And she's proposing to come out 8 feet to have a setback of 12. So the board does have authority over this matter to grant a variance per the requirements that are listed in your in your staff report. I can answer any questions that you might have, and the property owner is here as well.
When you calculate average setback, is that to the face of the house, or is that to any structure at all that comes out, like even a slab of concrete?
We consider it to the building, so that would be the house, or if there's a covered front porch. If there's an uncovered, unenclosed front porch, we would not consider that. So if they just have like a front deck or a slab or something, we would not count that. But if there's a covered front porch, we measure it to that. So
Okay.
the house just to the west, here at
Yeah,
1722,
1722.
does have a covered front porch that comes out, so we measure to that. So on these two lots, 202 North 18th, their setback is, I believe these two were about 12 feet, and then these two to the east were further back, so that average ended up being 17 feet between those four lots to the side.
And then there's three more houses to the east of that. I know they don't count for your calculations, but there's three houses to the east of that, and they're all in alignment.
They're all in that same alignment, the further back, so they're all around the 20 to 21 feet back from the front property line. And just to remind, we do measure from the property line, which is that red line, not the curb. So the area between these two red lines along Seneca Street is the public right-of-way.
Have any of the houses that are in your averages requested or received variances for setback?
They haven't requested or received variance. I do believe on the 1722, this porch out front may have been an addition. I couldn't find anywhere in our records when that would have been constructed though, so records going further back aren't always
Yeah.
real complete in our files. So if that was an addition, it would have been done at some point in the past. The subdivision was platted in 1960. I'm not sure exactly when the houses were built, but it has been, 50 to 60 years.
And you said the setback on 1722 was how much, or about?
It's about, let's see. We can just go ahead and measure. I believe it was about 12.
I think that's right, because I think her request is to be even with that one.
Yeah, so here's the, the front of their,
Yeah.
so it's about 12 feet.
And that front porch on 1722 appears to have been constructed
It
since 1960.
It appears so.
Yeah. Maybe in the last 5 or 10 years at most.
This past year it was built,
Past year?
this in 2018.
Yeah, I didn't have any record of building permit for that. So if they did it, it was,
Maybe illegal.
yeah. Because they would have obviously needed to request a variance for that as well.
Any other questions?
Not of Ms. Hurley.
So I'm assuming that the porch is proposed to be covered.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Take a look at the street view. Yeah, this is the neighbor's house that we're looking at. It's a little bit hard to see. But yeah, you can see there. Well,
No, that's,
that image capture was in July of 2013, and it's,
yeah.
that front porch is there, so. And then the yellow house is the 1718.
That porch that's on that picture is not accurate of what is there today. They added on the dimensions of that porch.
But isn't the addition uncovered?
No, it is covered.
It is covered,
It's got a
okay.
It's covered,
Think
It's
back
got a
over.
little gable on it
Does it?
and a
Yeah, you
little
can-
fence around it.
yeah. You can see there's the roof coming out.
Any other questions?
But not of Ms. Hurley.
open the public hearing. Would you,
Am I allowed to speak?
Yep, if
yes,
you could just come
please
to the
come up and
microphone.
identify yourself, please.
I'm sorry, I've never done this before. My name is Virginia Cornelius. I'm a 22-year Army veteran, and I've been an employee at Citizen Savings and Loan for 23 years. So I've been saving up for 10 years to build this porch. And I didn't realize I needed a variance because when I went to the office of the city of Leavenworth to purchase a building permit, and once the porch is built, then I was gonna get the house sided to improve my house. And they said that I would need a variance, so I filled out the application. And I went to the county to get so that the city of Leavenworth could contact my neighbors within 200 feet of my house to see if anybody had any objections to my building, the front porch. I don't know if anybody replied or whatever. I guess it's none of my business, but
We didn't have any contact after sending out the notification letters.
anyway, I'm 1,318 days away from retirement. Not that anybody's counting, but, I mean, that's what I wanted to do in my retirement is go out on my front porch and have a cup of coffee and commune with nature. So, I tried to do it the right way by getting the building permit and following the law. And, so I would just plead that you approve my front porch. And I don't know, I guess they received a copy of the map that I included in my packet of how I want my front porch to align with my neighbor's front porch and the house. So it's all, and it's gonna be an open railing, so it's not gonna interfere with anybody's sight line. And, I don't think it'll adversely affect the public health or safety or morals or order of the property. And I live in, the neighborhood that I live in, it's pretty well established. My house was built in 1965. And the people next door to me that live in 1722, they just moved in, I believe it was 2017, and they started making improvements to their house. They built a real nice stained wooden fence, and then I think they tore down that porch that was on that picture in 2013, and they completely built a brand-new porch, which was much larger than what was in that picture in 2013. And so I just wanted my porch to coincide with the dimensions of their porch.
Anybody have questions of the applicant?
So, Ms. Cornelius, you gave us the impression, or at least I gained that impression from you, that you've not talked with any of your neighbors about this to ask them what they think of the porch being
No,
out.
sir, that's not true. I have talked to neighbors in my neighborhood if they had anything, objections to this. And the 5 people that I talked to, they were very happy that I was doing this, and they were happy for me that I was trying to improve the looks of my house.
Okay. Well, I think you might notice from our questions that we're always very interested in the property rights, not only of the person who's bringing the variance, but also
Yes.
of those who are adjacent to
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I have no other questions at this time.
Okay.
Did you consider maybe, I mean, you're 8 by 20. Did you consider, is it 8 or nothing, or did you consider a shorter porch?
Well, when I originally planned it and went with my contractor, it was gonna be 12 by 20. And when I went into the city office to purchase a building permit. They said, no, it can't be 12, so I adjusted it from 12 to 8, and that's exactly what my neighbor is 8 feet from the front of their house, 8 feet out. So I just wanted to make it even, so that it wouldn't be, it would all be in this alignment.
Thank you.
Kathy?
I don't have any questions. I'm just struggling with the concept.
I don't have any questions, so can we proceed?
Yep, you can close the public hearing. and
Close the
then,
public hearing.
Move to the next.
We have a motion to close the public hearing, since we didn't have a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to close.
Good, thank you. A request for variance may be granted upon a finding of the board that all, thank you, you can sit down if you want, or stand, or, upon a finding of the board that all of the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition, and the finding shall be entered in the record. The first question is that a variance requested arises from such condition which is unique to the property in question, is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district, and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. Start with Mr. Bates.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree, sir.
I disagree, so that's 4-0. That the granting of the permit for a variance will not adversely affect the rights of the adjacent property owners or residents.
I agree.
I disagree.
I agree.
I agree. That the strict application of the provisions of the development regulations from which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardship upon the property owner represented in the application.
Disagree.
I also disagree, but I feel like I need to at least explain myself a little bit. While I appreciate your wanting to improve your home, I have a hard time getting past these requirements for a variance, the way the ordinance is written. So while I sympathize and would love to agree with all of these provisions, I just feel like I can't and still uphold the requirements of the zoning ordinance. So I just want you to understand that. So disagree.
I disagree.
That makes 4 of us. That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morals, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
I agree.
Agree.
Agree?
Agree.
Agree. So that makes 4 of us. That granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Disagree.
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 Disagree. So that's 4 of us.
So then it looks like there were 3 of the criteria that were disagreed upon by
Correct.
majority, so
Correct.
the variance would be denied. Since all criteria do have to be met in order for
Yes.
it to be approved.
Now, what can we do?
So the variance is denied. The options for the property owner, an open unenclosed porch or deck may come into the front setback. up to 10 feet, but no closer than 15 feet to the front property line. So that would give her 5 feet to come out to build a 5-foot deep deck without a roof over it. She could have a rail, but just no roof, has to be open to the sky. Or to appeal, the board's decision would need to go to district court.
Could she also not do a 3-foot covered porch
Yes, she could do a 3-foot covered porch,
and not require?
3-foot deep.
Yeah.
And be at that 17-foot average setback.
Yeah.
Do you understand what is being said?
I just feel, that I'm being not treated fairly with my neighbor when they built their porch last year to the dimensions that they built theirs. And if they were allowed to build that, I'm trying to build the same thing that they did, but, so I feel like I'm not being treated fairly. My neighbor was allowed to do that and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they did last year. Like I said, there were no building permits, so they may have done some work on it. But going back to 1998, I can't really tell on the years before that, based on the quality of the aerial photos we have, but in 1998, you can see that the porch on the neighbors looks the same size that it currently is,
But they
so it would
tore
have
that
been.
down completely. They took everything off of it and completely rebuilt it brand new.
And that may be the case. It looks to be the same size. I can't comment as to whether or not they should have gotten a permit last year, as I didn't see the work that was done. But like I said, going back on the aerials to 1998, it looks to be the same size, and, you know, that would have been built under different regulations whenever that was built.
I guess I should have taken a picture of that because it's not the same dimensions.
Well, we're talking about dimensions, and how wide can this be and covered to meet the neighbor's line?
It can come out 3 feet from the house. Well, to meet the average setback. To meet the average setback, it could come out 3 feet. To meet that neighbor's line, we can measure. Get that out of my way. So the neighbor's, I believe we said, was about 12 feet. And she's currently at about 20 feet, so it would be 8 feet coming out to be in line with that neighbor's. But again, the way the regulations are written is that it must meet the average of the lots within 150 feet on either side. And that average is a 17-foot setback. It's not just based off of an immediately adjacent neighboring property.
So the maximum that she can come out is 3 more feet?
3 more feet to meet that 17-foot average,
If it were covered.
if it were covered. But she can come out 5 feet with an uncovered porch.
We all sympathize with your dilemma, but unfortunately, the way the ordinance is written, we, like Ms. Hurley was saying, we can't look at just your next door neighbor's house. We have to look at further on each side. And because of that, our hands are pretty tied with what we can do, because there really aren't any extenuating circumstances that would allow us to grant more than, in our minds anyway, what the ordinance is allowing you to do. I hope that helps explain it a little bit.
So are you saying that it could be 5 feet from the front of the house?
An uncovered porch could
An
come out 5
uncovered
feet.
porch.
Yes.
So essentially, that would be a deck with a railing.
A deck with a what?
Railing,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
But I think what you wanted is the availability of coming out with something that was covered, giving you a certain amount of privacy, and,
No, I wasn't concerned about privacy.
well,
I mean, the only reason why I wanted a covered porch so that I could go out there in the rain or.
sure, understand. Sure.
It's not, it doesn't have anything to do with privacy because it would be an open railing.
Yep. But as been said, the maximum that you could do it would be 3 feet wide,
Or 5 feet with no cover.
or 5 feet with
Yes.
no cover. So you might go back and talk to your contractor
I
and,
mean, that's not a problem with the contractor or whatever.
well,
Um,
see what he can design for you.
oh, yeah. So do I just go to the city now to get the building permit?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep. So, variance request 2019-04-BZA is denied. I need a motion to that effect.
Sir, I offer that, a motion that this variance was denied, or is denied.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, same. No, same sign.
Okay, we don't have any further business. We don't have any applications for next month, so we will let you know when we do have some more applications and have another meeting scheduled.
Have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, stand up.
Aye.
Oh, and just to kind of let you know, I know Commissioner Gervasini, you had asked about the zoning bulletin that you all
Yes.
had previously. We ordered it in January, a subscription, and realized today in putting our things together that we hadn't seen it yet, so Michelle called and we had our confirmation number, and they said, oh yeah, we got your order, but it just never got processed for some reason, so we'll go ahead and process it, so. We will get it to you. It comes out every other week, so once we start receiving it, I believe it should come in a PDF format. I'm not sure, but we will, once we start getting it, we will get that out to you.
Okay,
And I know Commissioner Bogner had been interested in that as well, so.
okay.
So is there any corrective that occurs with regard to the neighbor?
No, it's an existing situation. And so there's, in a town with a lot of older neighborhoods, there's a lot of existing nonconformities all over town. And so we can't legally, force property owners to remedy those.
How, you say older neighborhoods. How old is an older neighborhood?
Well, anything that was constructed prior to our current regulations as they are now, we can't really force
so we're
someone to
talking-
change.
What, 2010?
Our current regulations were adopted in 2016. Nothing changed too much between that and the last adoption in 2011, I believe it was. So I'm not sure how much changed between that and the prior one, but, every time they're updated, some regulations change. So one common example is gravel parking pads and gravel driveways. There's a fair number of those throughout town. Those are not allowed anymore. So if you have something that's non-conforming, you can maintain it, but you can't enlarge it or change it.
Okay,
So, like this neighbor, if they did work on it last year, which it sounds like they did, the porch was existing, so they can maintain that. And, if they need to replace the roof or repair the rails or the slats or whatever, they couldn't have enlarged it though. So like I said, I didn't see any building permits for that, but since it was existing, they're allowed to maintain that.
Okay, thank you.
yeah.